Hello world! WayofTime here, bringing to you another episode of EEPower. So this episode we're going to actually structure a little differently from all the others. What we're going to do is pretty much, well, most of our buildings don't really have any sort of facade on them. They're just pretty much just great big open areas, and I'm not a fan of that. So to start with, what I did was I finished, or at least got most of the central building completed. So I have a bunch of runes on the sides. If we look, there's one as well here. I got a nice little piece of pie over there. And if we go inside, our floor is not grass, but I've got a little pattern etched into it, using different types of bricks and some wood in the center just to give it some sort of spawning pad feeling. Might need to change that later, but another thing I'll need to do is add a roof. So if we have time in the future, we'll be able to do that. So let's get rid of some of our stuff that we're not going to be using for this, and we're mostly going to be building up our pretty much. We'll start with our induction craft building, and I think it'll be slightly short of an episode so that we can just get all of our niceties out of the way and all of that fun stuff. So let's try to figure out some sort of building design that we'll want for this. Now, probably the main thing we're going to want is some form of floor. So for now, I think what we'll do is actually make all this floor space even. It's not going to take too much of an effort. We're going to also want to ring the sides a bit so that it's all even and we actually have some nice little area for that. So I'll just level up this floor, and then I'll go through some of the ways that I actually put a little architecture in these. As you guys probably know from previous seasons, if you've actually watched them, if not, I'll explain it anyways. Basically, I'm a type of person who likes to have a bit of architectural thought when planning buildings. So I don't like to have gigantic, pretty much square areas. I want it to look like something that someone would either work in these cases, or actually live in, which is somewhat for that case. This case is a little special in the fact that it's supposed to be like an introductory room with like the portal home, main work area, industrial craft area, and I have no clue what's going over there. So obviously it's going to need to be made of some sort of material. Now, usually what I do is I have it built out of one single material. So in this case, just smooth stone. But I am going to try to use both smooth stone and using some stone bricks, as well as using some of our slabby friends over here. Let's get some of our slabby friends into nice bricks. So stone slabs is not what we're going to look for, but let's see. Stone slabs, here we go. Combine these, and we got some more stone slabs. So this will be our third building material. We're going to need some more smooth stone, obviously, so we're going to have to go to our nice little cobblestone generator that we have cooking up in the overworld. I'll just grab a lot of that cobble, then we can get on our merry way. Okay, let's try to get a little architecture going on. Now I'm going to try to have this somewhat tutorial-esque in the sense that I try to explain how I'm actually developing the architecture that I am using to build all of these walls and the archways that I managed to pull off in this. It's not really that advanced of a technique once you really have the hang of it, but it does sometimes take a bit of time to actually wrap your head around, and that was a bit of a hole that I didn't expect. So what you're going to want to start with is obviously the material that you're going to want to build with. In this case, we're going to use the stone brick and the stone slabs and etc. We're also going to want to have a nicely defined footprint of where you want to build. That includes archways and etc. So the first thing that I like to get down pat is the doorway. I like to have a 1 wide by 3 tall because I don't want to feel like I'm sequestered or anything. So I just build those. So this is 3 high. Then we'll go over here. And we have a simple archway. Now I'll start with the simple archway and then we can see if we can actually embroider onto it later on. And we'll have one for here as well. Now to stop that, we'll put on our hover pack so that we can just do simple jumps, but hover upwards if we need to get up to higher buildings. Now I'll try to start doing something similar like that. I'll do a building similar in the sense that I'll try to get pretty much a layer of stone, in the sense that most of our building is going to be made of stone, though therefore we will want to mimic that. But I'm thinking with this we'll try to put a bit of a strip in it with our stone slabs right away. So kind of work that into the building. It might work. So we have to have an idea of what type of building this is going to be. It's obviously going to be our industrial craft one, so we need to make it look kind of industrial in design. So if we have this, if this is going to be one of our many facades that we have, no, it's not BuildCraft facade, so don't even need to bother saying that. Do we want that there? Let's go with that. So let's have this as the facade. Does that work? No, it's a little too much. So let's get our Silk Touch one, even though it's going to take a bit of effort to get. And of course the Silk Touch gives us our 2 little slabs, which, give us the stone slab. For some reason it's a different recipe anyway. So I'm thinking this will be kind of the bare bones of one side. So 2 extra here. And we have 5 for this. I like to go with a symmetry and then just build it like that. And once again, the main thing that we have in this is architecture. Now speaking of architecture, it looks like that side is 1 longer than the other. Don't see how that happened. Let's look. We got 5 and 3 space. We got 3 space and 5, and we have 4 there. How did that happen? I'm not sure. We might have to make this too thick so that we get our symmetry anyways. But that means we just have a bit of a bigger archway, or we just have it a bit longer that side. I don't know how I managed to mess up in such a regard, but I'm actually a little surprised. Okay, let's make a bit of our wall over here, and we seem to be lacking in the bricks, or stone rather, so we can just get some more of that. And where is it? There we go. And let's make it, and once again we need to get our archway, even though it's going to be a bit thicker than usual. And it'll be pretty easy to get a piston wall into that. You know, just flick a switch and pistons go, and we got our doorway. So let's tidy this up and go to the next part that I see right away. So this is pretty plain looking if we look at that, but we want it to look industrial, so I'm thinking having these bricks surround it, like these are somehow getting held in place, would be a bit better. Now, how do we want, covers and some of the red power blocks might be a useful addition to this, because it's a little dark in there. Don't want it too dark, but I guess it doesn't really matter as long as it gets the right feeling. Does doing that there. So the key, I should probably be explaining this a bit better. The key to trying to get all of this correct architecture feeling is that you have to experiment. You have to do a bunch of things purely to see whether they work or not. Because if you don't, you can't really tell if it works. So I think what we'll do is try out to see if putting this around the archway makes it look less tacky or not. That kind of looks industrial. So unless something changes, you might be able to keep this as somewhat of the archway. Though making sure it has the right feeling is the right thing to do. So let's go over there. The flower isn't needed. And let's see. Oh, that looks like it could work. So let's try to tie this in. We want to have somewhat of... It's not going to be runic in the sense that, well, it's not... Runes don't really have any place in an industrial atmosphere, so they can't really be used. So we have to keep everything tying together as if, like, this swoops in and supports the rest of the structure like that. But what I'm thinking is we'll have this corner taken out, and then this wall will edge up, and then this will continue onwards. Simple like that, kind of supporting up the structure. And this is kind of empty, so what I'm thinking of doing is alternating it instead, so that we'll have them switching places, so to speak. So let's put this here, and this here, see if that goes. And I kind of like the idea of that. That actually looks good, kind of like a packet. Ooh, that does kind of look like a packet traversing a wire. So we could think of this as like a wire casing and the energy just getting pulsed out. That actually has a nice effect. So we have to mirror the other side and see if that works. And then continue it from there. Oh crap, I heard an explosion. And I was correct. Oh crud, oh crud, oh crud. Apparently, we did not get enough water going to our engines and they somehow exploded. How much of our engines do we have left? This seems okay, so we can keep this operational. I wasn't planning on doing any renovations, but now that I have this, I might as well get some of the stuff planned out. Okay, we need to sequester this so that we can keep our water supply going. Break this up, and there we go. We got this water supply working at least. Going up, and let's see, can we save our tank? Ah, thank goodness that centerpiece is saved. If that wasn't saved, we would have lost all of our fuel that we have in here. Now that being said, we did lose quite a bit from this. One of them levers here got blew up. Hey! Did I ask for you? No, I didn't. And one of the engines actually got blown up as well. So let's lever this back up. We are missing some pipes here. And our funnel is completely disintegrated. But we do have most of the main infrastructure, as well as our cells, so at least it does give us a reason to remodel it as soon as we get everything back up. We're probably going to need to do a bit more work on it, but at least we can see everything. Now this means that our energy is going to stay as it is right now, so there's no addition to the energy reserves that we can do, though we do have this remaining. Now let's see, 1, 2, 3, we need to make 3 of those, so 3 plates. Let's see, do we have any sort of plates left over? Let's see, where are our plates? Where are our plates? It looks like we're probably going to have to use aqueous accumulators from now on to be able to keep everything from not exploding, because that'd probably be the best thing for all of our interests. So we're gonna need to get our iron back. Or do we actually have any iron? I think we do. Let me look around and find some. Thankfully, our quarry managed to get into some iron. 1 piece of iron, admittedly, so we managed to get some of that, and we'll be able to repair our tanker for the future. Let's see. It'd really suck if we lost all of that iron just because of a minor explosion. So we got our iron tank walls. Here goes nothing. And we got our iron remaining. Thank goodness. Phew. That was a little too close for comfort. So let's get rid of our junk again. And at least we have more dirt than we did before. Let's try to resume what we were doing before that minor inconvenience. Where's our stone bricks? Did I drop my stone bricks or did I just finish them? Either way, I'm not sure what happened. Okay, so let's go back here, refill this. Let's make some more stone bricks while we're at it. And here we go. Let's continue building. Okay, so we got the outside pretty well established, so to speak. I think I was getting to that part when that little occurrence happened. So let's see. We can, right now, continue the walls and do something similar. But I think the top facade is the main thing. So we have something similar to an energy packet on that. And in fact, let's continue something similar so that we'll have the main support strut coming up, going around, and supporting like that as well, and going around, rimming the entire structure. That was a little mispronunciation. Okay, it'll be just a quick thing over here. And of course, we're probably going to need it around. And of course, we will edit this if we need to. Now, I'm thinking we'll just have it on one wall so we can see what we can do. Now, energy packet is one of the things that will be prevalent in what we're doing. That much we know. And I think have this like that. Maybe that could work. Don't think that quite works. No, it doesn't. So let's get this out of the way. This out of the way. Works a bit more. Let's check it from the air. Okay, what is the key? Backslash? No, it's M. Nope, it's not M. What is the blasted key for this? Controls, jetpack, jetpack, jetpack. L menu? What the heck is L menu? Control? Alt? Oh well. At least hover mode works. So if you see, that column goes up as well, and it works in the same way. So what are the many aspects that industrial craft gives us? We have solar panel design. We can use that as one of the things. Let's see. No. We can't just go for it. Continue with the packet design until we have something a little more concrete. Or we can just wing it. Winging it. Winging it. Winging it. Winging it. Let's just check the blocks. Let's go industrial. Laser beams. Mining laser, no. I want it to illustrate something. It needs to look industrial in the sense that, we'll just go for it. Let's continue going for it, see what we can figure out with our designs as we're going along. Cutting a few corners as we're doing so. And then see for that. Now, you'd think I'd actually spend not as much time with the walls, but it seems like a very important thing that I need to do, so I need to spend as much time with it as the others. Let's try to brainstorm, shall we? What we could try to do is, since this is an industrial setting, we can try to make it a little more lively by putting windows in. So kind of working along, you go along and jump up to a window, see what all the other rooms are doing, have a little more light in it, we could either do windows or we could try glass panes. If I had Optifine, I'd be able to make a more educated guess as to which one would be a bit more better. Let's see. We'll try glass panes, see how far we can go. This one lights up a bit more, and it does complement it in the sense that, but it looks more like a prison than anything. So I think we'll go for the full glass and then see where everything else takes us in that regard. So we'll try to ring this with glass. I think we do have enough sand from our tree farm to do that. And we'll go from there, and maybe we can get a roof on this using more glass, because since this is a light age, we should be able to just get as much of that as possible. Now put this there and continue on. Okay, this is starting to look little more industrial. It's getting that nice little ambience and really is seeming to work a bit. Now, how are we going to tie it in so that we have a nice little top layer and we can start meeting the glass? I'm thinking if we go stone on here, let's see how that works. That looks a little more sandwiched. Probably wouldn't be good for what we're doing. Let's get rid of that and recharge our drill so that we actually have some use for it later. Next step is to see whether putting this up like that would be a better idea. Let's see. That actually doesn't look too bad, so let's check from the inside. Kinda getting it a little better. That might actually work. We're gonna have to see how it ties in a bit better. We do have pretty much an unlimited supply of all the energy that we need to make all of this, so it's not like turning it into cobblestone is too bad of an idea. So let's look. This side, that seems good. Looks a little Japanese, but this side, it's gonna need some work. So how are we going to secure it so that this side works? You can do this. Let's try that. Okay, looking a bit on that, I'm not sure how much I agree with that. Doesn't really have the correct ring about it, so probably what we might need to do is try instead with our stone bricks and see how it looks on both of the sides, because there's no point having something if we're going to love looking on the outside of it but hate being on the inside. So continually trying swoopy patterns, make sure that we have some semblance of planning, even though we're not really doing much planning other than the stuff we're doing on the side. And we'll go with that. Let's try. Go land like that, and we'll take this out and actually put that there. So that looks a bit better. And this looks like it belongs. And that's the thing. We need to make sure it looks like it belongs. And we can keep it going like so. Let's try. Does that work? Yeah, that works. It's getting more industrialized. So we can ring around this, get more of these. Let's ring around the rosy, ring around rosy, and get all that done before we start losing ourselves in the love of our bricks. Ooh, bricky. Yeah, let's go with that. It seems like we're getting a bit more ambience. It seems like we're actually getting a roof for one. We might eventually, depending on how things go, might have to move this advanced solar panel so that it works a bit more. Let's get the entranceway a bit better, like so we can walk through and go into the storage room that doesn't really have anything right now. But for an open concept building, it seems working. Well, open concept building. I don't think you can get any more open concept, air quotes, than you can with a building that doesn't have a roof. Though I think for now this is a workable building, it looks a lot better than other ones, and considering that we're not using any sort of special half slab blocks that we can place on the walls or anything like that, it seems like it's working a bit better than previous designs. Now we can have some of the outlets functional as well, though I think having something where we just remove a block and put like an energy cell unit in there would be something more akin to Buildcraft. We'll probably have something like that, and maybe something that has a bit more blast resistant of a floor. Well, I think that wraps it up for this episode of EEPower. It's more architectural merit than actually doing stuff, other than fixing our bloody mess of a floor, which we'll probably need to do later. And we should be able to get some more steel. Oh, how much steel do we have? Let's run over and find out if we have enough. That's the thing. Do we have enough? Got 3 stacks and a half, which seems like a interesting number, and hopefully our quarry gets into more iron so that we can refine that into steel, because we might have another project for which we can use all that steel for some fun stuff. Let's check. How are you doing? Maybe later. Well, that's all the time we have for this episode of EEPower. If you like what you see, don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe to future episodes. WayofTime here, signing off. Have a wonderful day.